Okay, you guys, this is from Chicago Reader. Notice the inverted R, all done on purpose, by the way. Make it make sense. Judicial elections, summer jobs, Church of Scientology. I'm going to read the whole thing because I feel that it's all important. A weekly column from the Chicago Reader covering the top stories on our radar and how they impact our communities. Sean Mulcahy. Seems very Irish. Or Scottish. The infamous Chicago cop running for judge. Dozens of judges are running in the March 19th primary. I believe the blind justice is supposed to mean no biasness. What a great illusion we have, right? A Chicago police officer. Can't help but laugh. We all know, like, the history, right? I know Style Audit knows. Running for judge in a district that spans Edgewater to Streeterville has a long history of misconduct and dishonesty. Big surprise there. Kind of reminds you of the LAPD? I'm just saying. An Injustice Watch investigation found Lieutenant John DePoulos, who's running for the bench in the 20th Sub-Circuit, fatally SHOT 2 people. Isn't that great, you guys? We've never seen that in LAPD. Including one person who was unarmed. I'm just wondering, were they melanated people that got shot? Because, that's usually how it goes. Engaged in business that ran afoul of department policy. And blocked undocumented survivors of abuse from applying for protected legal status during his nearly quarter century in law enforcement. Chi-town, just like LA. It's my old neck of the woods, by the way. I was from the big Milwaukee. The Chicago Police Department even tried to fire Poulos in 2017. Are you guys seeing the connections now? That pant leg must be tight. That was based on a recommendation from Internal Affairs a decade earlier, stemming from his 10% stake in a bar and grill. Chicago police officers are prohibited from owning businesses that serve liquor. But the police board tossed out the case. Can't help but think of the Los Angeles Police Commission, ruling that the department waited too long to bring charges. Hey, you guys, doesn't that sound like how many times we've heard of especially women or little girls that were SA'd? How many times it's too late to bring charges? Statutory, or what do you call it, statute of limitations? On and on it goes. Too long to bring charges which violated Poulos' due process rights. Just sucks the energy out of me. On his way home from the restaurant in 2013, Poulos fatally SHOT a 28-year-old man. How much do you guys bet the 28-year-old man was maybe black while driving, or just basically a black man? Something tells me. The cop says threatened to K him. We've never heard that before, have we? Do you guys remember when the First Amendment guy, I forgot what his name is, BJ Investigates, highlighted him on her channel, which I don't think it's wise to do what he was doing. He went to a police officer's home to ask him some questions. I don't remember what the details were. And dude was freaking unhinged. And what did he say while the First Amendment reporter was filming him? You just threatened to K me. While he was pulling out his, pew-pew. Yeah? Threatened to K him, attempted to escape before flashing a shiny metallic object. I do know Off Streets has talked about some cases like that in LA. The Independent Police Review Authority. Oh, we could frickin' count on that. Where they're supposedly policing themselves. Which investigated misconduct at the time. Determined the blanking was justified. They always do, don't they? In my opinion, it goes way beyond narcissism. I believe there's some psychopaths in some of these agencies. It's my opinion. For the lowdown on every judge... Oh, and by the way, he's running to be a judge. Isn't that great? For the lowdown on every judge running for a seat in the March 19th election. Trying to think about that date. It's a 319. January, February, March. 319 is a K number. Election. Check out Injustice Watch's Judicial Election Guide. Prefer to read it in print? The guide is included as a pullout on the reader's latest issue. Available at a box near you. Isn't that great? I had to highlight that because to me it's important. Now hiring. Watch for the similarities. And I'll explain what I mean. Now hiring. The city of Chicago is now accepting applications for its One Summer Chicago initiative, a youth employment program run by the Department of Family and Support Services. Is that like social services? Remember that Massachusetts cop? And I'm not saying the Chi-Town cops are doing this. I'm just comparing. Remember the Massachusetts cop that I highlighted in an article? You guys could go look it up. Who lured a 13-year-old girl into this. It was one of their youth programs. I forgot what it was called. Somewhere in Massachusetts. Abused her as a 13-year-old innocent little girl. Her mother had passed away, and her grandma was taking care of her, and then her grandma passed away. Vulnerable much? And the little girl had wanted to become a police officer. So what does every predator do? This particular cop groomed the 13-year-old girl, abused her for 5 years, from 13 to 18, and then even past that. That's not bad enough, you guys? That's not bad enough, right? It gets way worse. He shared her with his twin brother, who was also a cop. It gets worse. By this time, she'd been abused for probably 6, 7 years, maybe a little longer, she became pregnant from the initial abusive cop. And this was a youth program that had run since the 70s. She was very excited to have a baby. If I remember correctly, she was not sure which brother was the father. That's how sick it is. The cop murked the girl, the young woman at this point, and who was pregnant, like almost 8 months pregnant. And guess what happened to him? And his brother. Guess. Nothing. And my assumption and guess is that the police in that particular unit, and not all of them, we know not all of them, but that there were a lot of police officers that were doing the same for years, because the program had been instituted since the 70s. So I'm not saying that the Chi-Town cops are doing this. I'm just comparing the similarness of the programs, as well as you think about Faith in Blue and Youth for Human Rights. What's the other one? Where they bring in the kids. I know Faith in Blue is one of them, but I think it's Youth for Human Rights. Oh, Drug Free America. A youth employment program run by the Department of Family and Support Services. You guys see why I don't work as a social worker anymore? That places 14 to 24-year-olds. Can't help but think of Reese Kibel. 14 to 24-year-olds in part-time, 6-week jobs at local businesses, community organizations, and city agencies. And I imagine a lot of these kids that get into this program get a lot of help. So I'm not shading everybody. All I'm saying, I'm just trying to compare the similarities in where we're seeing all this abuse of children. That's what I'm trying to do. And clearly, not every police officer is doing that. We all know that. A key initiative of Mayor Brandon Johnson, the city hopes to find employment for some 28,000 young people this summer. Do you guys wonder if there's grant funding behind all this stuff? Because there always is, isn't there? Up from the 24,300 who participated in the program last year. Johnson earmarked an additional, I knew it was going to come to this. Johnson earmarked an additional $76 million in his 2024 budget for youth employment. I want to know what kind of jobs some of these kids got, how much they were getting paid, and if it led to anything. And that, I mean, it depends on the individual. That's a lot of freaking money. When we talk about investing in youth employment, we are really talking about investing in public safety, workforce development. Me personally, I think workforce development is kind of a bust, but there are some benefits you can get. I should know, I worked in it before. Poverty, alleviation, economic growth, and so much more, Johnson said in a statement. Participants of One Summer Chicago will be placed in one of 3 city programs. The Chicago Youth Service Corps, for people ages 16 to 24, runs year-round and is focused on leadership development and local and civic engagement. Chicagobility, for kids 14 to 15, matches participants with project-based learning and skill-building experiences, according to the city. I'm just stuck on the $76 million. In the Summer Youth Employment Program, also for people 16 to 24, matches participants with job placement or training programs to provide work experiences and develop skills for career pathways. Don't you guys wonder what kind of skills they're talking about? Are they talking about food service? What else? CNA work. And granted, that can help someone get a foot up, but people need, stable and secure employment that's going to get them past slave labor. Seeing a trend, you guys. New in the neighborhood. You're going to love this one, you guys. I actually wish I had some of my sound effects, but I'm not set up for it right now. Last weekend, the Church of Scientology unveiled its new supercenter. Oh, it's supercenter, everyone. Like a Walmart supercenter. The Chicago Ideal Org. Remember that Chi-Town cop who was telling some of the protesters that they couldn't yell? It's a cult! So I, of course, screamed it out of my window so the Chi-Town cop could hear me say it. In South Loop's historic Printers Row, it's a massive 7-story complex with displays that show 500 films. Films, everyone! Oh, we're going back to the 50s? Oh, films! On Scientology's beliefs and practices. Yeah, creating child slaves and indentured servants, human trafficking. A chapel. Ooh, a chapel, everyone. 1, 2, 3, everybody. A chapel. For regular services and events. Ooh, like when they lock the wealthy ones in rooms and won't let them leave until they give money. What's it called in legal terms? Extortion? And a street side cafe. Ooh, wonder what they can buy with their $47 weekly. Apparently, most Sea Org members and staff members only get 1/4 or half their pay. Chi-Town cops seem to be hunky-dory with all that. And then, we got to have the, I can't zoom in. It's great, what do they call that when you fix the picture? I think they added a whole bunch of people in there, It's funny. The ribbon cutting ceremony for the Church of Scientology, where child abuse and child labor and human trafficking happen. Ours of women, ours of children. Scientology's Chicago Ideal Org. Credit Courtney, Church of Scientology, or courtesy of Church of Scientology. Keep that in mind, you guys. I mean, unless they got this on the internet. Chicago joins nearly every major city across the globe. Across the globe, everyone. Like those little shanty towns in Africa where they go for the kids in the natural disasters. Or where they freaking harvest people from the Ukraine when it's a war-torn country. Yeah. Hosting an Ideal Org massive centers. Ooh, massive centers. Designed to promulgate Scientology's ideology worldwide by both anchoring its current foothold in the community. They're anchoring, everyone. Isn't that wonderful? They're anchoring. Because they think children are adults in small bodies. I guess the Chi-Town cops do too. Some of them. and continuing to expand its membership. They're always saying the same old wah, 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 wah. The guest list, oh God, can I throw up now? For the ribbon-cutting ceremony, raises some eyebrows. First, there's David Miscavige. Isn't he wanted by the authorities? Chi-Town cops? Scientology's leader. He's a leader, everyone. David Miscavige is a leader. Like a prestigious executive. And a subject of lawsuits. Alleging child abuse, human trafficking, and forced labor. No mention of the hiring of the women. More intriguing, though, it's intriguing, are the local officials who showed up to mark the occasion. Bob Fioretti, who previously led the city's council's progressive caucus and is now running as a hardline conservative for Cook County prosecutor, spoke at the event. According to a press release that described him as an advisor to the city, he reportedly told the crowd, "What's awesome about the Church of Scientology is that you get it. You understand the character of the city on so many levels. Ooh, ah." Also in attendance was Norman White, who appears to be a hate crime specialist. A hate crime specialist, everyone! Can I apply to be a hate crime specialist? With the city's Commission on Human Relations. That reminds me of CCHR. Is that what that is? Oh yeah, City's Commission on Human Relations. Little Janny's over there. Janny Eastgate. You in keeping Chicago safe. You have demonstrated an inherent willingness to help. You know, like the 5-year-old scrubbing toilets. Indiscriminately, White said, of the Church of Scientology. Is that, any relation to the, supervisor over there in LA? Slow White? So, I will leave a link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.